Good evening, humans. Tyrannosaurusmoth here, and tonight we're taking a look at the Star Wars The Mandalorian Boba Fett recovered armor figure from MAFEX. Let's do this. Aesthetically speaking, this figure looks really good. However, not perfect. There's definitely some stuff I have gripes with. But overall, I think the silhouette they got pretty much right. Like, you know, we saw this with the SH Figure Arts, and here we definitely get a longer neck, which just allows for a little more movement, which we'll look at in a couple of sections. But overall, like, I definitely think they nailed it. The stature is there. It looks right from both the side and the front. What you'll notice, the rangefinder is not there, and that's because mine broke immediately out of the package, which is a little sad. I think I'd heard of other people having that issue, and yeah, it's very delicate. I don't even know what I did. I didn't even try to articulate or anything. I just like picked it up and it was broken. So I must have put it down wrong or something. But something to be careful of. So there's that. Other than that, we do get some nice soft goods going on here. So you can see we have the cowl around the neck. This is definitely improvement over the Figure Arts, where that definitely allows for more movement, especially with that extended neck, so we can get our flight poses and such. So very, very nice there. The armor colors itself, the green seems a little lighter than the Figure Arts. I keep talking about it, so let's bring it in. And my lights are kind of lighting up. Actually, they're kind of close. They're like pretty much the same. Actually, it's a little bit darker here. Never mind. Take that back. I do like the red of the gauntlets a little bit better here, where, you know, it's definitely a slightly brighter red. I think that's more accurate to what, or at least my mind's eye version of what we saw in the show. And then we get to, you know, the skirt piece. And the skirt piece is obviously much more accurate to what we saw in the show, where it was more to one side as opposed to the full-on skirt. I do prefer this look, though, but that's more of a personal thing than an accuracy thing. But then, speaking of the pants and kind of the below the waist part, it is a dark brown. It is not black like the top of the costume, unlike the Figure Arts, which is all black, which I believe is accurate to the show. That's how I always saw it. So I'm a little disappointed in that. This is closer to the Bandai model kit, which I also have. We'll see that in the, size comparisons. But yeah, other than that, I mean, they definitely did a good job here. Like, tampos are clean, stuff like that. Again, proportions are good. Colors are mostly good, except for the brown on the bottom. I don't think it looks right. And I'm kind of surprised, especially because this was a later release. I thought this was I honestly kind of thought this was going to be the ultimate version, but not really turning out that way. Though, one last point. Speaking also of the visor, which I guess is a little more accurate, we definitely got kind of more of an artistic rendition of the wider visor here on the Figure Arts, and then got more kind of what we're used to seeing with Boba Fett here, where the top is a little bit thinner, and then it kind of comes into this slightly tapered piece in the front. So yeah, that will do it for aesthetics. We get a ton of accessories, so let's not waste any time here. Starting with hands, we do get a pair of fists right out of the box. Then we get a pair of trigger finger hands, get a pair of pointing hands, get a pair of, I think, are button pressing hands. You can see that index finger kind of pointed down. The rest of the fingers are up, kind of splayed out. We get a pair of splayed out hands fully. And then finally a pair of relaxed, kind of looks like typing hands. So very nice all around. Then I get two different head sculpts. Of course, we get the helmet. Unfortunately, with the broken rangefinder on mine, I am going to glue that back in place. And then we get an unmasked Tim Morrison head, and this looks fantastic. This might be one of the best likenesses I've seen in MAFEX. Like, you know, their real person likenesses are kind of hit or miss, but this one I think is spot on. They did a fantastic job all around, especially the light shading with the kind of scarring on the face. So yeah, fantastic job there. Really just fantastic. Might actually just keep this one with the unmasked head. Just a rarity for me. Then of course we get his backpack, very nicely detailed, as you can see. And you can see these three ports, and there's actually the back plate, because the back plate comes off of the back of the figure. You just kind of remove this and you get those three ports, and this just kind of goes in that place. It's a really nice way to do it too. Kind of keeps the seamless look of it going, especially if you want to take pictures from the back. And then we get his knee pad with the actual missile coming out of it. So really nice addition there. You can see that that kind of just plugs in with a port there, that very kind of cut out sort of rectangular piece. Then we get a piece for his effect piece for his gauntlet. So we get the fire effect. As you can see, this is just kind of a plate that kind of comes over. We got those ports, and that will just come off the right gauntlet. And I remember Robo, formerly of the Foosh, kind of complaining this. So this comes out and then this comes off. And I know Robo was saying that like his just like fell off. Mine doesn't so far. Thankfully, I haven't really removed it. But it seems like it should be an easy process, but we'll see what happens when we get there. But yeah, really cool fire piece nonetheless. Going back to the backpack, we do get a launching missile, just like we did with the SH Figuarts version. So very nicely done there. Moving on with weapons, we do of course get his sidearm. Really nice gunmetal with a little bit of brown. Really like distinct detailing there too, like the black here at the back of it as well. We get his signature rifle. Really like this, especially with the silver barrel and the kind of the brass tip of the barrel. Like kind of one of the best looking versions of his rifle I think I've ever seen. So definitely commendable there, MAFEX. And then finally we get a grappling hook, and this feels very, very thin. I think this is metal, but I'm definitely not going to test it, especially after the rangefinder issue. But really nice bright silver here at the top as well. So that will do it for accessories. I was about to move on, but there's a couple things I forgot. First off, these little blast effects, which we've seen with a lot of different Boba Fett figures from different companies. So really nice translucency. You can see that big, bright yellow look to it. Very, very nice. And then we get the MAFEX stand, which I don't have right in front of me, but you've seen it before. It comes with every MAFEX figure. That will do it for accessories. Articulation here is decent. Balance, not so much. As you can see, no freestanding kicks. Yeah, just the proportions of the figure and the way the articulation is going, that yeah, just does not lend itself to that, unfortunately, but that's okay. That's definitely not a game changer. That's not a like deal breaker, certainly for me. But we are going with a barbell joint from the neck into the head. We have a separate neck piece, so we're looking down that far, looking up that far, so we do get our flying poses. Again, having this soft goods piece in the neck is actually very nice, kind of a game changer there. For the shoulders, we do have a bit of a butterfly joint, mostly forward, a little bit back, mostly forward, a little bit up and down. You can see we got the separate piece here. Then we have the arm pads also on a hinge. So that's going to allow us to come up and hit a perfect T, thankfully. We do get some bicep swivel in there as well. Double jointed elbows, however, we're only getting to kind of just past 90. So really not much better than we got with the Figuarts. Then we get our swivel hinge swivel, so we can go pretty much anywhere we want to go there. I'm being very careful with this now in light of things, but there you go. So got that hinge. Then nothing in the diaphragm, of course, but we do have a ball joint here down at the bottom of the torso, and a fair amount of room. So we get a little bit of crunch going on there, a little bit of back, but we're going to be running into the armor piece, unfortunately. So that'll hinder that. We get some side to side, get tons of rotation. For the legs, we do have a tiny bit of drop down. I think you can see it there. That allows us to drop out, but we're gonna kind of have an uneven sort of split situation going on there. Mostly because, as with every figure of this Boba Fett design, we are gonna run into the holster here. So there's that. Our front kick, we do get full 90. That's very, very nice. We do have some play in terms of thigh swivel. We are single jointed, that one big giant joint is going to bring us to just about 90. Nothing at the top of the boot, but we do get our swivel hinge swivel here at the foot. But we're not getting too much point, getting better forward. We do get some pretty decent rocker, and then we get a toe hinge. So that'll do it for articulation. Getting into size comparisons, here he is with the Bandai model kit, the Black Series, and the SH Figuarts version of the same Boba Fett. With some domestics. With some imports. With some monsters. Finally, with articulated icons Oni and yours truly in human form as a Valaverse Action Force figure. So my final thoughts on the Star Wars The Mandalorian Boba Fett recovered armor figure from MAFEX is that, to be honest, I'm a little disappointed. I did not expect that this was one of my most anticipated figures for the year, so this, you can definitely chalk that up to kind of like personal hype for this. Again, this is one of my favorite looks for Boba Fett, and the SH Figure Arts is one of my favorite figures, period. I thought this was actually going to kind of like just blow that one away, and very much not the case. The articulation is pretty much the same, with a little extra range here. You can see there's actually a little bit gappiness there with the belt as well, that I didn't notice earlier. And you know, the colors are a little bit better. I definitely like that, with the exception of, again, them going with the brown for the pants. Just, I do not like the way that looks. And the rangefinder braking was just not a good way to start. And that definitely, I would normally chalk up more of my feelings to like, okay, well that happened initially, and I know I'm still kind of like not reeling, but you know, thinking about that. But you know, it is what it is. It's a very delicate piece on literally any Boba Fett figure. But yeah, this one's just strange. There's some really nice accessories. There is a lot to love about this. It's definitely, in terms of the sculpt, a little more accurate to the show, or a lot more accurate to the show. But for my personal preference, yeah, it's the SH Figure Arts. For this one, you know, I can definitely see people preferring this, and if you do, I believe it is still available from various online shops. So I'll have a link or two in the description below if you prefer this one and you want to check this one out. But overall, I hope that you found this review informative and somewhat entertaining. And if you did, hope to see you back, because I do multiple reviews a week of action figures related to tokusatsu, dinosaurs, monsters, pro wrestling, and more. So if any of that appeals to you, come back, let's talk some more toys, and just escape the world for a while, pardon me. Really, at the end of the day, I just hope you are well. I hope that all of your toy dreams come true, and most importantly, I hope that you and yours stay weird, simians.